Let's start by finding the file. Go to File, Open, and let's click on Justice League for the first file. Zoom out and make sure the image is selected. Go to Object, Live Trace, and Tracing Options. Move the box down so you can see the image, and hit the Preview button. Now you can see what the image will look like after the live trace. You can see right now there isn't a lot of details in the face, so we can change it to a different preset. This one looks alright, but still a little bit faded. And this one's not very good at all for detail. Go to Comic Art. That one's probably the best. It gets a lot of detail and the lines are very thick. Hit Trace. This is a good image to use. Now let's go to a different image. Go back up to File, Open, and click Sketch Venom. Zoom out and make sure the image is selected again. Object, Live Trace, and Tracing Options. Click the preview again. As you can see, there's no detail at all. Changing the presets doesn't change it too much. And even with this kind of image, it'd be very hard to paint it later. Very small crevices. So hit Cancel, and we'll close that image and just start with Justice League. Now let's go to Live Paint Bucket. Select the image and click Live Paint Bucket on the Tools palette. Click on the image and click OK. The image is now converted into a Live Paint Bucket group. Alright, let's start coloring. I've already zoomed in on Wonder Woman, and I've chosen the color blue for the highlights on her suit. Zooming in helps you choose the area better. Now I'm going to go over to the Swatches palette and pick a yellow for the lasso. When it highlights it, you can click and it fills in that color. Oh, didn't mean the color on the line, the black line. Hit Ctrl-Z on the keyboard and it reverses the last thing you did. Oh, did it again. Ctrl-Z. It's very easy to do that on the smaller areas. That's why it's better just to zoom in. Alright, now I'm going to go over to the color guide and choose a slightly different color yellow for the belt. Hold down the space bar and click and pull so you can go to different sections of the drawing. It's a lot easier to do this than zooming in and out. I'm going to zoom out now so I can get a better idea of what I'm doing, and chosen a red from the Swatches palette again. I'm going to choose a yellow, the same yellow from before, for her star and gauntlets. I'm choosing a slightly darker yellow for the shadow of her gauntlets, and red again for the boots. Oops, there's a bleed through. So I'm going to zoom in on the image of that section and see, you can see where it's bleeding through a little bit, where there's an open gap. So I'm going to recolor the boots now that I'm a little closer. And then I'm going to get the direct selection tool. I'm going to highlight the boots. I'm going to pull it up so it closes that gap. That was what was making it bleed through. And then recolor it. Bleed-throughs are quite common on live traces. You might have to do it a lot on the image. I've had to do it quite a lot on the rest of that. I'm going to change that to wipe straight. Alright, now I'm going to zoom out and use the hand tool to pull up. And I'm going to use the eyedropper tool and get the flush tone of the flash over here. Flush tones are a little bit tricky to get. So once you have one, it's easier just to copy, use the eyedropper tool to copy it, and then change it slightly on the color guide, because it's kind of strange if everyone has the same flush tone in the whole image. So I'm just going around, and I'm going to zoom in on the hand again, going around and filling in all the parts of the flesh tone. And the space bar to make the hand tool, and click and drag until you're at the other parts of the image you need to color. Now I'm getting the swatches again, swatch tablet, to get yellow for the earring. Now I'm going to use the highlights in her hair. I chose a red, but I'm not going totally red. I'm going almost close to black for the highlights. Oh, Control-Z. A little darker, I think. And this just gets a little bit more interesting than just a white line for the highlight. Oh, eyedropper tool again. I forgot that tiny section above her eyelid for the flesh tone. I'm going to zoom out. Oh, and I just realized that I did the tiara a little bit wrong. It's supposed to be reversed. The star's supposed to be red. And there you go for that. Now let's finish off the image. I've already colored in everything else, we just have to choose a background color. Solid color is a little bit boring. Let's choose one that has a gradient in it. That's a little dark. There we go. That looks nice, brings out the color and everything else. Now you've learned how to do a live trace and a live paint bucket.